Welcome in, everybody. Region Football Wrap-Up here from the Athletic Performance Factory. Michael Brander, Matt Skura alongside. We got Justin Cole working the production. Our scoreboard master Skibbs in the background as well. He's having himself some pizza here from Athletic Performance Factory. He's enjoying every bit of it. We had some pizza earlier. It was delicious, by the way. So if you're coming out here to the Athletic Performance Factory, make sure you get some pizza. I'm sure they got plenty of other things on the menu as well. Definitely recommend coming out here maybe on a Friday night or any night, really, and you can enjoy some great food and some lively conversation. And you may even get to watch us here do the live thing right here.
See what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes. It can be a little scary. Don't worry about it, though. But we got scores to go through. We've got finals for you here on Sectional Championship Friday here to begin November. So let's get right to it. We got Class 1A, sectional number 41. You have West Central and LaVille doing battle. For LaVille, they were looking for their first sectional championship since 2023. They are now 7-time sectional champions, 49-6 over the Trojans of West Central. So the Lancers are moving on. Who are they going to face? Well, they're going to face the winner of Pioneer and Carroll Flora, and the winner of that one is going to be the Pioneer Panthers. They pick up their 13th sectional championship in program history, first since 2020. So it's going to be an interesting regional matchup here between LaVille and the Pioneer Panthers.
Yep, unranked LaVille Panthers at 8-4. They travel out to Pioneer, who is ranked 2, I believe, in Class 1A.
I can pull that up for you.
I'm going by the coaches poll, not.
Oh, okay. You're going by coaches poll.
Yeah, AP, anything like that. I figure right. Number 3.
AP not good enough for you.
They're ranked 3rd. Right.
Let's see. We're going 1A.
I don't get a vote in that, being the AP. So
I haven't had a vote in anything in years. So on any of the football stuff, there's a reason for that, though. They don't like my insight on things because I think the teams that are winless should be in the top 10. But
we are biased. Strength of schedule.
Right, exactly.
They're playing all the good teams. That's why they're 0-10.
That's why they're 0-10. Absolutely. All right, moving on to Class 2A, sectional number 33. You've got the Andrean 59ers who headed out to Rensselaer Central taking on the Bombers. Andrean, we've said this from the beginning of the year, probably the team that many would view as the most likely to make it down to Indianapolis. Well, that trek is right on course. They pick up their 23rd sectional championship in program history. They did so back-to-back years now, doing it last year as well, and they pick up the win 35-14 over Rensselaer Central. This was really, it's 35-14. This was a 35-0 game at the half.
Yeah, so I'm sure Andrean had, not knocking Rensselaer or anything like that, but I'm sure Andrean had a lot of subs in the game at the time, resting up some of their starters for a big matchup against Southmount. The Mounties are 11-1, so they'll be traveling to Andrean. So Andrean gets a home regional game. We get a home game in the region for football. So, if you want to get out to a game Friday night, Andrean would be a good place to go.
59 Broadway is not a bad place to go.
Yeah, a potential semi-state matchup for Andrean, should they win the regionals, would be either Adams Central or Eastbrook.
Okay.
So those are the two winners on the other half of the northern semi-state. So, Adams Central is ranked in state. I think they're one of the top 5 teams along with Andrean. So that would be a, potential top 5 matchup.
Yeah, we do have
there.
Andrean ranked number 4 in that coaches poll that you were looking at. They did receive a first-place vote this past week, so some opportunities there. I think that's what that number 1 next to their name is, probably. So we're receiving at least a number 1 vote.
One coach liked him.
Somebody liked him. Or it was somebody here from the Region Sports Network, one of the two.
Yeah.
But Eastbrook, as you were talking about, number 5 in that coaches poll as well. Little spoiler alert that Matt dubbed a little bit earlier. We had Southmont taking on Lewis Cass, and Southmont, the Monties, pick up their 2nd sectional championship in program history, first since 2023. They get the win at 44-39, so they will head out to Andrean as well. So this is back-to-back weeks that Southmont will have to head on the road to take on an opponent, and come to 5959 Broadway. Not an easy thing to do for a lot of teams.
No, and I don't know exactly where Southmont is in the state of Indiana, but I'm sure it's at least an hour plus drive for them, going on a bus too.
Crawfordsville.
So, Crawfordsville. Oh, yeah, that's shot down I-65 there.
Yeah, so not too bad. I mean, a little bit of a drive, but not too bad for Southmont. A little team bonding on the bus for sure. All right, we're going to take a look at Class 3A now, moving up the sheet here. And we had Knox taking on the Mishawaka Marion Knights. Knox looking for their 4th sectional championship in a row, and they do get it with a 48-18 win over Mishawaka Marion, who hadn't won since 2021. It'll continue to be that way for the Knights. Who will they face? Well, you had a really entertaining ball game over in Angola as the Garrett Railroaders took on the Angola Hornets, and Angola wins that one 30-28. They pick up their 5th sectional championship in program history, first since 2018. A lot of craziness going on in that game. We were getting the updates from Skibbs a little bit ago before we got on the air. Just a lot of interesting notes about that one.
Wild kicks. A lot of wild last couple minutes of the game.
So it'll be Knox taking on Angola. Both those teams were hosting. So who did we say was going to be the host team for that one?
Angola at Knox.
Angola at Knox. Okay, so a little bit of a drive there for Angola to get that one. So that is our first 3 classes. We'll step aside for just a moment. When we return, we'll finish up the rest of the classes and then recap everything we've seen so far here this evening. You're watching Region Football Wrap-Up on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Hi, my name is Mark Macknick. I'm the owner of Mark Macknick CPA firm in Highland, Indiana on Kennedy Avenue. I've been working with Region Sports for years now. Started working with Chris years ago, just on some special projects, advertising here and there. After a while, kind of increased the advertising. Mainly was doing it for the community involvement. It's such a great network and program they do with the high school sports. But as time went by, I started getting on there more frequently, and then the phone starts ringing. And I was getting calls all the time from people. Hey, I saw your ad on so-and-so football game. I saw your ad on a basketball game. And it's really helped my business. It's increased the volume. We're a tight community in Northwest Indiana, sports-wise, and just a lot of community involvement. So that's mainly why I got into it. I remember watching one game. It was a basketball game, and I think there was a little bit of an altercation. And as the altercation was happening, my ad was right on the bottom, and someone typed in, "I wonder what Mark Macknick's thinking right now." And I was thinking, "Wow, this is awesome." It's really been a great feature for my business. It's the only advertising I do. I don't advertise anywhere else other than Region Sports. It's for the business, but mainly for the involvement with the community. I played high school baseball here in Highland. And ever since I've been advertising on Region Sports, a lot of my old coaches are now my clients. A lot of my old teammates come in here. My recommendation, if you're a business here in Northwest Indiana, I think Region Sports is, for your money, it's one of the best places that you can advertise. I mean, I can advertise on billboards. I could do anywhere I want to. And I choose Region Sports, mainly because I get a lot of feedback. Especially on the high school level, a lot of the parents, if they can't make a game, they're watching it online, they're watching a replay, the grandparents. So it's done wonders for my business, and it's my go-to for advertising. It's the only spot I would advertise. So if you're a business owner in the area, really look into advertising on Region Sports. It's going to be well worth your money, and you'll make tenfold on what you're spending. Region Sports Network, they're the only game in town, but they're more than just a game.
Go to the highlights.
Welcome back to Region Football Wrap-Up here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Matt Skura. Let's take a look at Class 4A here tonight for sectional championship. Friday. Let's start with sectional number 18. That was South Bend St. Joseph, the Huskies, taking on the Mishawaka Cavemen. And it was a 7-3 game late in that fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, South Bend St. Joe's came from behind and got the win 13-7 over Mishawaka. So South Bend St. Joe's gets the 11th program sectional championship, first since 2015.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that what Mishawaka was on a three title streak.
3-year win streak.
Going for the 4-peat, and they got knocked off by St. Joe's. St. Joe's playing tough this year. They're 11-1. Only lost to Penn. So it should be an interesting matchup for our next score.
The winner of our next game, which is going to be a game that we've got some highlights to show you as well. Over in sectional number 17, two of the storied franchises here in Northwest Indiana doing battle from the NCC. It was the Lowell Red Devils over at the Brickyard to take on the Hobart Brickies, a couple of state champions from previous years. You had Lowell back in 2005, Hobart back in 1993. So let's take a look at some of these highlights now. Both teams since the early 2020s with sectional championship wins as Hobart gets on the board first with the first touchdown of the evening. Lowell looking to answer. And they do by getting a safety. So working on something there to try to get some points on the board. Lowell down the field, catch is made, and into the end zone to give them a score here. Still trailing 14-8 at that point in time. Using that safety to help them. Let's go with a 2-point conversion. Nope, sorry, that was 2-point conversion to make it a 14 ball game. So that was a touchdown. I thought it was a 2-point conversion. Excuse me. So now Lowell with the 1-point lead. Hobart looking downfield for the end zone, back of the end zone, and therefore the touchdown. Lowell can't believe it on the back end of that play. So Lowell with the 21-15 lead at that moment in the third quarter. There's a chance at the goal line there. We'll wait for the call. 35-15 now. Just over 3:30 left to go in the game. Here's Lowell looking for one right near the goal line, in front of the goal line, but it was a defensive stand for the Hobart Brickies, and that's where you see the final score, 35-15, the final. So the Hobart Brickies pick up their first sectional championship since 2020 and pick up their 23rd of program history. Guess we're going to wait to see, is there a little magic happening over there in Hobart? It's been since 1993 since they've won a state championship. You know that fan base is hungry for another state title to make its way to Hobart.
Yeah, I think it was, 95 since they won a regional championship.
Yep.
Also, I believe.
I'll double check. We'll get the research team on it, a.k.a. me.
Yeah, but Hobart looked good. They, won by a lot more than I thought they would. I thought Lowell would have made it a little bit closer. But again, Max Pickett didn't play the first game. He played this game. He's a big difference maker for Hobart on offense.
Last regional championship for Hobart is 2020.
2020. Oh, okay.
And then semi-state was 2020 as well.
Yeah, so they went to state that year.
I'm sorry. 2020. Yep. They thought maybe that was the year, but unfortunately for the Hobart Brickies, Indianapolis Roncalli stood in their way at the end of that season. So we will see Hobart taking on South Bend St. Joe's, and I believe we said Hobart hosts it, or South Bend St.
Hobart will travel to St. Joe's.
Yep, because Hobart was the home team for sectionals. So South Bend St. Joe's will host. So Hobart Brickies will make that trek out to South Bend. That's a little over an hour as well.
St. Joe's has one of the few east-west fields.
Okay, so we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, in the state. Andrean's another one.
So we'll see how that plays a factor. Well, and something they're used to if they have to go to 5959 Broadway a fair amount. Let's take a look at Class 5A now, sectional number 9. You've got the Munster Mustangs that went out to Maryville to take on the Pirates. The Pirates looking for their 7th sectional championship in a row, and they do succeed in that. 45-14, the final. So Maryville picks up their 18th sectional championship in program history. They're looking for another state title, first time since 1976 they can get through Class 5A. Now, you were looking at some of the other 5A scores around the state. So who would obviously our next matchup obviously is going to be the one that they're going to meet up with, and it's going to be another Duneland Athletic Conference opponent. But as you start looking a little bit forward, who are the teams that might stand in the way of the Maryville Pirates?
Lafayette Jeff beat Kokomo, and Lafayette Jeff is very similar to Maryville in speed and size and all that. So that should be a very good matchup for them. And then Lafayette Jeff will take on Concord, who's also only has one loss on the season. So that the Concord Jeff matchup will be a very good matchup also.
Perfect.
So not like they're both very similar teams. Jeff's obviously got a little bit more speed than Concord, but very similar style of play. Get the ball up and down the field and go.
So who are the Maryville Pirates going to play next week for regionals? Well, we had a matchup between two Duneland Athletic Conference opponents, and it was the Michigan City Wolves in LaPorte to take on the Slicers. And this one was looking like it was going to be all Michigan City very early on in this one. In fact, going into the half, it was 21-0. Then late in that fourth quarter, there was a big surge by the LaPorte Slicers. And then before you know it, we were tied in that fourth quarter, 21-all. LaPorte had picked up a fumble at one point to it was 21-14. And then all of a sudden, 21-21. Great effort by the LaPorte Slicers. So you go from 0-10 to almost sectional champions in a matter of a year, less than a year in a lot of ways, because Michigan City does hold on. They get the win. They get the win at 28-21. So Michigan City picks up their fourth sectional championship in program history. But for the LaPorte Slicers, let's take a look at the LaPorte Slicers. Then we'll talk about Michigan City. I said 0-10 to almost sectional champions. That's a big improvement.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And then you got some of the younger kids now that they see the success that's going on, and got a weekend of sadness and then get back in the weight room Monday morning.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we had mentioned now that, 4 wins this year to hang your hat on, and you almost picked up your fifth. But you had 4 wins this year. You had 4 wins the previous 3 years combined. So growth is happening over there in LaPorte. So it'll be a fun team to watch here the next couple of years. But Michigan City, they pick up the victory. They are sectional champions, first time since 2021. So they will take on the Maryville Pirates. This is a Michigan City team, so they're going to get a chance at Maryville again. This was, we sat here weeks ago and we saw this matchup, and you kind of said this might be one of those years that Michigan City might be able to knock off a Maryville team the way they were playing going into that matchup in the regular season. And I was agreeing with you because Michigan City had been playing really, really well. And Maryville, obviously Maryville is a very good team, but we were thinking maybe this could be upset central. Unfortunately for the Wolves, Maryville was no, we're still one of those dominant teams. You had placed kind of Maryville still in that upper echelon, maybe just a tick below Crown Point. So we'll see what happens now in regionals. Can Michigan City capitalize on some of the mistakes that they've started to fix now and take on the Maryville Pirates?
Yeah, Michigan City's going to have to play, if not a near-perfect game, a perfect game to win. They can't have those costly penalties. They can't throw the interceptions. They can't give up big plays to Maryville. They got the speed to match Maryville. They got the aggressiveness to match Maryville. It's just whether or not they can execute.
So that was
to that point.
That was a Week 5 matchup, and it was a close game for a little while. Then all of a sudden, Maryville just turned on the Jets. It was a 44-7 victory for the Maryville Pirates. At that point, it put Michigan City, 3-2 after that loss, and just propelled them right afterwards. Got 3 wins in a row right after that. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now. We'll see, because you're averaging, Michigan City's averaging 29 points a game, whereas Maryville's standing. Let's look here. 37 points a game, so this is going to be an interesting matchup to watch next week in regionals for sure. And who's going to, Michigan City's going to host that one?
Yeah, Michigan City will host.
Okay, so Michigan City getting to host that one, so that'll be interesting as well, because that last game was at Michigan City as well. So see how this one plays out. I imagine this one will be a lot closer than that 44-7 final we saw in the regular season. Wrapping things up with Class 6A sectional number 1, you had the Crown Point Bulldogs taking on the Penn Kingsmen. This turned into a really tight ball game late in the home stretch. Crown Point had a lead 24-21, couldn't pick pick up a first down. And unfortunately for the Crown Point Bulldogs, very uncharacteristically, had a lot of penalties late in this game, which in a lot of ways cost them this win here tonight, because Penn picked up their 27th sectional in program history. They win 28-24 over the Crown Point Bulldogs.
Yeah, they had a couple of big 15-yarders that cost them a lot of field position, and we got some highlights here.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the highlights here between Crown Point and Penn as Crown Point breaks off for the big early touchdown to start things up here in the early moments of this one over in Mishawaka, and that kind of got things going for the Bulldogs here. And unfortunately, later in that first quarter, Penn comes back with an answer and will eventually tie that ball game at 7. Got the fans rocking and rolling over there at Penn. There's a pass down that near sideline, and then for Penn, taking the lead in the second quarter. So it was 7-7 for a while. Here's a field goal opportunity for Crown Point that gets them another couple of points, inches them closer, and brings them within 4 points as we get ready to continue on here in the third. So 14-10. Here's Crown Point going toward the end zone and getting in for the score. So another Crown Point touchdown there, 17-14 with the lead. Going back to answer is the Penn Kingsman. So just like that, that was 4th and goal, by the way, as well. So 21-17, Crown Point in this fourth quarter early on into the end zone on the run play. Takes the lead. It was 1st and 10. Back to 24-21. Here was a field goal opportunity to try to tie the game. Unfortunately for Penn, they had a bad snap, and Crown Point was feeling it at that point. The problem was there was still 3:22 left to go in the game. Crown Point couldn't pick up the first down to try to cancel this one out. Long pass into the end zone for Penn, and they take the lead and get the win 28-24 because Crown Point couldn't get anything going then. Thought we had a fumble there. We did, and Penn will walk off with another sectional championship in program history, the 27th of their storied history, and the first since 2023. So Penn will move on. Who are they going to play? Well, you got the Battle of Fort Wayne teams. You got Fort Wayne Northrop and Fort Wayne Carroll. Fort Wayne Carroll going to get the victory. The Chargers pick up their 9th sectional championship in program history. They get the win 42-23. So no region team over there in Class 6A. But we're going to recap all these scores yet again real quick in just a moment. We're going to step aside. You're watching the Region Football Wrap-Up Show here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Ava, let's go.
Try it on.
The shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Hi.
That's why we're committed to fighting hunger in our communities until everyone has a reason to smile. Stratton Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowd Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowd Companies, insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
From lighting up Friday night football to powering the classrooms that shape the students of Lake County, IBEW Local 697 is proud to support our region's schools and the communities we call home. A career as a union electrician could be your next great move. Your next cap might be a hard hat. IBEW Local 697, powering futures, powering the region.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialists.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Welcome back to Region Football Wrap-Up here on the Region Sports Network from the Athletic Performance Factory. Michael Brander, Matt Skura alongside. All right, I'll redo the scores. You tell us the regional matchup. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's take a look at Class 1A sectional number 41. You had LaVille defeating West Central 49-6 tonight. And then you had Pioneer defeating Carroll Flora 45-14 in sectional number 42. So we've got LaVille and Pioneer. Who's where?
Yeah, LaVille plays at Pioneer.
So that should be a fun one over there, Class 1A, for that regional championship. Now, Class 2A, sectional number 33, Andrean 59ers from 5959 Broadway. They get the win, 35-14. They will take on the winner of the Southmont and Lewis Cass game, and that was Southmont.
And the game will be at 5959 Broadway.
There we go, right there in Maryville. So 44-39 the final there, Southmont over Lewis Cass. Class 3A, moving on down the line, you had Knox defeating Mishawaka Marion 48-18, and then the Angola Hornets defeated the Garrett Railroaders 30-28.
Yep, and Knox will be at home for the third week in a row.
That is a big get for Knox to be able to be home 3 weeks in a row.
Right.
Crazy that gets to happen, especially in sectionals. Knox picks up their fourth sectional championship in a row. Class 4A, game you saw for the Region Sports Network, Lowell and Hobart. It was the Hobart Brickies getting the win, their 23rd sectional in program history, 35-15. They take on the winner of South Bend St. Joe's and Mishawaka, and it was South Bend St. Joe's.
Yep, and Hobart will be on the road and play St. Joe's, and I would imagine there'll be a earlier start local time for that game with it being in the Eastern time zone, but we'll find out here probably in the next couple of days exactly what time kickoff is.
Yeah, so probably like 6 or 7, depending on, there you go.
Yeah.
There's your joke for the night. Now we take a look at Class 5A, sectional number 9. You had the Munster Mustangs heading out to Maryville to take on the Pirates. The Pirates pick up their 7th sectional championship in a row, 45-14. The final over there. Happy birthday, Principal Krutz, by the way, for the Maryville Pirates. And then over Michigan City, you had them against the LaPorte Slicers. Michigan City gets the win 28-21.
And Maryville will be on the road at Ames Field for that matchup, regional
matchup, and a matchup of a regular season game that we thought had interesting implications. Didn't turn out the way we thought. Will regionals be different? We will find out. Stay tuned next week to the Region Sports Network. Then wrapping things up, Class 6A, sectional number 2, Fort Wayne Carroll gets the win over Fort Wayne Northrop, 42-23. And then sectional number 1, it was unfortunately for the Crown Point Bulldogs, it was a loss, and it was the Penn Kingsmen who get their 27th sectional championship with a win at 28-24 over the Crown Point Bulldogs. All right, what stood out to you tonight? Final thoughts.
Penalties, big plays and penalties. You know, I mean, that hurt Crown Point really bad. You know, LaPorte had some costly penalties near the end of the game that killed their last drive. We didn't get to see the Hobart. There was not costly penalties, but there were some big plays that were called back because of penalties. Yeah. So again, you got to play a clean game at this point in the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, right now we're in sectional championships now. This is when you got to play error-free ball at this point. And obviously these are high school kids, so it's still going to happen, but trying to minimize those big penalties for sure. All right, before we wrap things up, we from the Region Sports Network would like to thank early here. I know we have till Tuesday, but a big thank you to all of our veterans that have put on the uniform and did whatever they had to do to protect our country. So thank you for all of your service. We cannot thank you enough for doing what you do and what you've done. So thank you again from everyone here at the Region Sports Network. Our executive producer is Chris Ramirez. Our operations manager is Rich Castillo. We've got Heather Ames. We've got the sports director, Mike Dewan, over here as well. He's keeping it crispy. And then you've got Zach Miller doing great work as well. They were doing great stuff in the studio. Skibbs was doing the score stuff here at the Athletic Performance Factory as well. Justin Cole doing a great job on production and joining in on the RSN zone as well. For Matt Skura, Michael Brander here. Thank you for tuning in. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, so thank you very much for tuning in. Again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Get all the stuff you deserve. Get all the free food and everything you deserve. Nobody deserves it more than you guys, so have a great Tuesday for Veterans Day, and stay tuned because we have plenty more coming up when it comes to football here, regional pairings, and all that kind of stuff is going to come out here this week. So stay tuned here to the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Flip the switch, a light turns on. Press the button, machines and instruments come to life. Touch the screen, communicate with the world. Simple tasks, guaranteed results, every second of every day. That's the power of power. And that's the power brought to you by the Nika Contractors and Electrical Workers of Local 531.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
Welcome to Diamond Plate, your new go-to sports bar with a casual vibe and elevated ballpark favorites. Dig into hand-breaded chicken tenders, juicy burgers, build your own pizzas, and don't forget our full bar stocked with local favorites and everyday classics. Located inside Athletic Performance Factory. Diamond Plate brings the fun with multi-sport simulators, duck-pin bowling lanes, plus party space for birthdays, holidays, company outings, and fundraisers. Diamond Plate, where every bite, every sip, and every play is a win.
For 26 years, Armor Construction has been beautifying homes across Northwest Indiana. From expert roofing and durable siding to eye-catching custom copper work, Armor Construction does it all with the highest quality and integrity. Serving Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties, trust the best exterior construction company in Northwest Indiana to protect your investment. At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Life isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet moments that matter the most. of effort, of a dream taking root. And behind those moments, there's trust. Thank you for trusting Centier Bank with those moments and making us a part of your story. Thank you for the opportunity to earn your trust.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.